If you've ever looked at your May calendar and thought, man, a rainbow exploded on here. Who approved all of this stuff anyway? And then all of a sudden you realize, oh, wait, it was me. I approved all of this stuff. Field days, field trips, awards, graduation, classroom parties, promotions, device collection. You're planning summer school. And then somehow you're still supposed to be leading the school. You're still supposed to be in classrooms, making sure there's high-level instruction happening. You're managing discipline, all of those things. And if you're a new leader, this is the moment where things can maybe feel a little bit out of control or maybe surprisingly smooth. And the difference is systems. Today, I'm talking about how to manage all of the end-of-the-year chaos. Hi, friend. Are you ready to move into a leadership position? Do you have interests and ambitions that you want to pursue, but feel like you don't know how to take that next step? Maybe you want to start your own coaching or consulting agency. I'm Mel, and I help educators define their career path through correct mindset, knowing your options, and getting prepared for your career transition. I will show you how to level up your leadership skills, share your expertise in a new way, create impact on a larger scale, and put your leadership in motion. As an educator for over 20 years, I started to feel underused and like I had more to give. I knew when the time had come for me to leave the classroom and affect change on a larger level. Now, I'm ready to help you determine where your talents and skills mesh with your passions and interests. Put your leadership in motion and move into that next phase of your educational career journey. Let me help you define your career path by having the right mindset, knowing your options, and getting prepared for that next leadership position. So power up and put your leadership in motion. Welcome back to the Empowered Educator Show. I'm your host, Dr. Mel Vandevort. This is the show where I help new leaders move from just surviving to leading with clarity, confidence, and strong systems. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of the most chaotic, exciting, and honestly, most unpredictable time of the year. That's the end of the school year in an elementary building. Today, I want to focus on elementary, or in our school, we call them lower academy teachers, because there is a lot going on in your buildings. Now, on the surface level, this season looks fun and it's exciting, and you've got celebrations and milestones, and you've got a lot of big smiles and a lot of memories being made. But what's going on behind the scenes is where your leadership gets tested, because what feels like just a few events is actually a full system of moving parts that all depend on you being organized, proactive, and really being very steady so you can keep the calm in your building. So if you're feeling like everything is happening all at once, you're probably not wrong, leaders. But today I'm going to walk you through how to manage all of it without losing your mind, and more importantly, without losing your leadership focus. And you already know where I'm going with this. We're going to be anchoring everything in the three systems of leader, logistics, and learning. So let's start with you. Because before we even talk about field day schedules or bus lists, we have to talk about your leadership presence. The end of the year brings a different kind of energy, guys. Teachers are tired. Students are louder than usual because summer's coming, it's warmed up, they're excited, and parents suddenly have urgent questions at 10 p.m. because you know their kid just told them about the field trip tomorrow and that they need to lunch at 9:45 p.m. And if you're not grounded, you'll feel pulled in every direction. Your role right now is simple, but it's not easy. You have to be consistent in your communication, keep your tone calm and steady, and remind your staff that we're going to finish strong. If you feel scattered, your staff will feel chaotic. But if you feel focused, your staff, they're going to feel supported. Now that is strong end of the year leadership. So let's switch gears to logistics systems. And you know, this is where things either run smoothly or they're going to fall apart very fast. Your end of the year success is built on how well you manage your logistics. Make sure that you keep up with those weekly leadership team meetings. Make sure that your office staff is included in those. This is your space to review all of those upcoming events, to clarify those expectations, to make sure that you have assigned and confirmed responsibilities, and that you're checking in to make sure that they're being completed. There's some accountability, and you can catch those gaps before they become problems. Because when you have more than one perspective or one mental model, other people are going to help you catch those gaps. And here's what sometimes happens. Everyone assumes that someone else has it covered. And that's how things get missed. So during this season, your leadership team meetings, they're not optional. They're essential, guys. They keep everyone aligned, informed, and moving in that same direction to ensure that the event or whatever it is successful. Now, with that system in place, let's walk through the major pieces that you're juggling. Field trips. These multiply quickly. So instead of managing them individually, create one centralized calendar. Assign a point person per grade level if you have multiple grades. If you only have one class per grade level, you can actually assign someone from a grade band, like K2, 3, 5, or you can assign one lead teacher to do all of it. This gives them some leadership opportunities and some growth opportunity in case they want to eventually move into a leadership position. And it highlights the strengths of your teachers because you're going to choose the teacher that you know can do this well. And you need to standardize permission slip collection because I've seen a breakdown in a couple of the field trips we've had in the past couple of weeks. And you need to standardize how teachers request those field trips also, because nothing will test your patience faster than 2 grades needing buses at the same time and nobody telling you until the day before. You also want to make sure that your teachers are not leaving campus without some kind of a roster of every student so they can keep track. And if you allow parents to chaperone or tag along, you need to make sure that they know not to take a student and just leave at the end of the field trip, because guess what? That's happened before. Sometimes parents have this idea that because they're along on the field trip that we aren't really responsible for their student and that they can just manage that student on their own. That needs to be communicated clearly with your parents. And if they want to take their student at the end of the field trip, you need to have sign-out sheets. So once they leave your presence, you are no longer responsible for them. Field day. Field day is not an event. It's an operation, and you know that. You need a rotation schedule, and you need to lock that in early, and you need to figure out who's going to be where. You need to assign staff to all the stations. If you have a snack station or a water station or an area where they can just go and rest. And there's always that one station that turns into complete chaos. Make sure that you plan for that one on purpose. And be very strategic in who you place in what station, because you know some teachers, as much as you would like to think all teachers have control of all students, you know that there are some teachers that just cannot control a class that's not their own or students that are not their own. Then you've got award ceremonies. This is where communication matters the most with parents and staff. Define that criteria clearly. Standardize across the grade levels and make sure that all your materials are prepped early. And create a protocol for that so everybody's on the right page. Because if the expectations aren't clear, you're going to hear about it from parents for a long while. And you're probably going to hear about it from your office personnel because they're going to carry the brunt of it more than likely. And they're going to get the ugly phone calls from parents that they have to field. It's like being the teller at a bank and someone coming in upset because their account is overdrawn and you have no control over that, but yet you're the one that gets yelled at. Then you have those promotions and graduations. Parents are excited to see their kids walk across the stage and receive some kind of certificate to be promoted to the next grade level. Treat this like a production. Script it, rehearse it, time it, because 5-year-olds with microphones are unpredictable, and you know that. The parents will remember this forever because this is a very important milestone in the lives of their children and in their lives, and they want it done well and documented well. And in all of this chaos, you still have to manage classroom closeout. You definitely want to avoid that last week scramble. Create a checklist, get it out early, set deadlines, clarify those expectations. Make it a system, not a cleanup panic. And include your device collection in that. This one can sneak up on people. Schedule by grade level. Create a checklist for the process and communicate damages and fees to your families early so they're not surprised on the last day when you won't release records. Or you may be tracking down those devices in July and nobody wants that. And that's not just device collection for your students. That's device collection for your teachers if you have them turn them in during the summer, or especially staff that is not returning. And of course, in all of the other chaos, you're going to be thinking about summer school. Don't treat this as an afterthought. We have already started planning and we have pretty much our entire summer school laid out. And we have had for over a month now. You're going to need staff secured early. However, that's going to depend on your enrollment. You need student lists finalized. You need to clearly communicate to families. And here's your leadership move. Summer school isn't separate. It's an extension of your learning system. Do not treat it as a daycare. Make sure that it is planned out well, with learning happening during those weeks of summer school. So let's talk about learning systems because we do not want to let this slip those last few weeks of school. This is where new leaders can sometimes unintentionally lose ground because it's easy to think, well, we're basically done. But remember, instruction still matters. You need to keep those walkthroughs going, keep them short, keep them focused. You need to celebrate academic growth, and you need to make sure that you're supporting your teachers in finishing strong because you know end of the year instructionally sets the expectation for how next year begins. So let's do a quick reality check. End of year in elementary school feels like a field trip, a water park, a talent show, and a group chat that never stops buzzing, all happening at once. And your job as the building leader isn't to eliminate that chaos. It is your job to organize it. I only touched on a few of those end-of-year events and things that are happening on your campus. There are probably some things that are very specific to your campus, certain traditions that you do every year. In one school where I was principal, it was a May Day festival that we had. And it was the elementary principal's job to plan it, even though it was a district-wide event. Make sure that you're very systematic in all of this planning, that you don't try to take on all of the things by yourself, that you strategically place the right people in the roles that will get the job done. Here's the leadership I want you to hold on to. You are not managing events. You are managing the systems that run these events. That's how you move from overwhelmed to in control. So here's an action step. This week, create your end-of-year master tracker, one document, one system, and it should include every event, all the key logistics, deadlines, staff ownership, all of it, guys. If it's not in the tracker, it doesn't exist. And once you build it, you can refine it and use it every year. That's how systems start working for you. Leaders, you don't have to end the year perfectly, but you do need it to end intentionally because the way you close this school year is exactly how you set up the next one. And here's your power statement. I don't manage end-of-year chaos. I build systems to lead through it. So keep creating those systems, keep leading with clarity and confidence, and remember to go the extra mile to motivate, inspire, lead, and empower.